There's a war breaking out on YouTube, and it looks like I'm gonna have to choose a side. Some kind of rift has begun to develop between Arkansas Woodcutter and Will It Grow on YouTube. I don't know how it started. Something about a shed. They call it the Shed Wars. So I'm out in my shed. I figured I would just kind of show what's going on out here. From the outside, it's a pretty decent sized shed. A little junky. Got some pallets here that I'm going to be using pretty soon to make myself another Minecraft style raised garden bed. We'll take a look inside the first little section of the shop. Kind of cluttery. It's not as bad as it was. Right before these shed wars began to break out, I kind of organized things a little bit. We've got various paints and stains, glues, a couple of cans of carb cleaner, buckets of nails and screws and nuts and bolts. Some just random stuff that I don't even know why I have. Like, why do I have these? I understand if I would have bought them to use them for something, but I didn't. Like, they're just here. I don't know how I ended up with that. Some things that I bought intentionally not to use. I picked this stuff up at some flea markets probably. I thought they were kind of cool. Some old-fashioned shears and a meat grinder. Clean that up. It could look cool. Oh, got one of those old-fashioned ice cream scoops that I really don't think I want to use because I think it might be lead. I'll have to do some research on that. But it looks cool anyway. Working our way down, random various tools, basic tools, hammers and saws. Got a weed eater that probably needs a new carburetor. Got a chainsaw that definitely needs a new carburetor. And then over here, this is kind of the junk side of the shed. This stuff, a lot of it is going to be scrapped or thrown away, or some of it, like in this bucket, we have some keepsake type things that just haven't found a place in the house yet. Here are some arrowheads. I got these from my Meemaw on my mom's side when I was a kid, and my papa on my dad's side handmade the boxes that they're in, so definitely we'll be holding on to those things. Just have to find a good place for them in the house. Here's something I bet most of you don't have. Hanging in a bag on a shelf in your shed. How about a tanned rattlesnake hide and rattle?
I'll feel it. I'll feel it.
Okay, you can feel it. Be careful with it.
Whoa.
What do you think's inside of it?
Snake rattle.
Yeah, but what do you think's inside of it that rattles around?
Bees.
There's actually nothing in here.
Why is it rattling?
Well, let me show you. So, you see those little button thingies?
Yeah. No.
You see those?
Yeah.
Those little sections click back and forth on each other, kind of like this. And that's what makes, hold on, stop. That's what makes the rattling sound.
Oh.
I got my hands on that a little while back, and I've been meaning to do something with it. I need to put it on a board or something like that. And now let's head on into the second little section of shed. Here we have another kind of small rooms. Large enough to hold stuff, but not quite big enough to really do any work. One of these days, this is the wall between the first section of the shed and this section. One of these days I'd like to pull that wall down and have a nice, or at least a decent sized shed. Again, just random stuff that should probably be thrown away. Most of it. But I'll hold on to it. Have a table saw here that my brother-in-law gave me. He moved to Texas and he didn't want to haul it there, so left it here. This is empty. This is my bucket hunting stuff. Ah, it smells like dirt. I've got those dirt scented wafers in there. I love that smell. Some camping stuff in the back corner. Oh, in this bucket. This is the hide from my first deer. This has been here for since year before last, I guess. One of these days, I want to learn how to tan a hide, or at least I think I am. That's why I've kept it in this bucket. It's salted and everything, so I think it's okay. There's no smell to it at all. I'm not going to pull it out of there, but one of these days, we'll get started on trying to learn how to tan that thing. Until then, it can stay in its bucket. And on the other wall of the shed, I've got some doors that kind of open up. The floor is buckled. And this is just kind of a little storage area. I keep all kinds of coffee cans and ice cream buckets and juice containers. Eventually, I'll probably end up using those. Leftover materials from different projects we've done. And here's a roll of some aluminum, not siding. I can't think of what that stuff is called, but anyway. A roll of barbed wire, just a little bit of lumber, deer feeder that one of these days I'll get set back out. And then right next door to that we have the third section of our shed, and we're putting this to good use. This is where we're brooding our little chickens. These are going to be our egg-laying hens, or at least some of them. I plan on getting some more toward the end of the season. Uh-oh, you guys have chowed down since yesterday, haven't you? Let's open this thing up. So we're going to get you some food and some water here. So that's what's going on in my sheds here at the Sustainably Yours Homestead. Now let's talk a little bit about these shed wars. Now, I generally try to avoid conflict at all costs as much as possible. But here we have this Yankee calling out pretty much all southern gardeners and homesteaders like they're going to raise more food than us. I don't know about all that. So obviously, I'm going to have to jump onto the team of my fellow Arkansan, Arkansas woodcutter. Now, I really don't know who this Will It Grow thinks he is. I mean, the very name of his channel, it poses the question, will he be able to grow stuff, right? So I don't know what makes him think that he's going to be able to grow more food than us here in Arkansas, much less the entire South. So with that said, let me head over to the garden and show you what we're going to have going on this summer. Heading over toward the garden, we're going to stop here first. We have, this has been here since we moved in. It just kind of magically appeared. I think this is elephant garlic. I've already recorded a video where I transplanted some of this elephant garlic. I'll show you what we did with it in just a second. But it was spreading all over the yard. It just spreads like wildfire. But we'll definitely be harvesting some of this stuff toward the end of the season. And here we are at the first part of the garden. It looks pretty empty, but man, I just have not trusted the weather enough to start planting things just yet. I've got about 6 or 7 mounds here. We're gonna do the Three Sisters thing. I've already planted the corn and the squash. That started coming up, I guess, yesterday. So here's the yellow squash coming up. And this is gonna be popcorn. Popcorn that I got from Baker Creek. And as soon as these begin to grow a little bit, I'm gonna come in and plant some green beans in around there. That way they can climb up the stalks. The stalks are supposed to get something like 8 feet. Over here, I have some leftover kale from last year. It came back for me. I just kind of broadcast some romaine lettuce into a couple of spots in the garden. So I've got some romaine lettuce coming up. It looks like something. Oh, I've got a rabbit. I've got a rabbit out here that's been chewing up my stuff. I guess I'm gonna have to. I wanted it to be able to stay here, but when it starts eating my garden, I'm gonna have to get rid of it. Here. Another one here. I had planted some peas right over here. I made them a little teepee to run up, and they were getting up pretty tall to about here or so. And coming over right now, man, that stupid rabbit. I tossed out some onion seeds earlier. I've never grown onion from seed before, so back early spring, I threw some onion seeds in here. They're all coming up really nicely. I need to get in here and weed some things out, I guess. Along this fence line on both sides, I planted a bunch of red noodle beans that I got from Papa Pepper. They're planted, I guess, about every 3 inches or so apart. And we got a good 10 or 12 feet there. Those are prolific plants. So hopefully we'll have us a lot of red Chinese noodle beans. And there's one of my little garden defenders. Ha! He's a brave one. There he goes. And then all along this fence row, we have some straight 8 cucumbers. I've got them planted on both sides. So we'll have hopefully a bunch of cucumbers. Man, I love cucumbers. That's one of my favorite things about summer. I have 1, 2, 3, 4 rows where I've planted okra. That was 2 full packs of okra that we have in the ground. And all of this stuff has just been planted within the last 3 or 4 days or so. So it's not up yet. I know the garden doesn't look like much right now. And will it grow? You're probably watching this video laughing, thinking you got this in the bag. But it'll get there. Oh, it'll get there. And here we are at the food forest. None of the trees are going to do anything yet this year. I just planted those at the beginning of the spring. But I do have a whole bunch of onions planted all the way around this first tree. We have, these were yellow onions, white onions, and red onions. And then over here around, this is my Alberta peach tree. All the way around this, and this won't be harvested this year. This is the garlic that I was telling you about that I transplanted. And I'll have a video coming out here sometime shortly about this whole project. Transplanted 192 garlic plants over here. And I don't know if they're gonna bounce back this season or not. I think they'll be okay in the long run, but the root shock may have done them in for this season. I may not be able to harvest any of this anyway. This is the next round of plants that are gonna go out to the garden. I've been hardening them off so that they don't get sun scorched. Man, check these out. Carolina Reapers are some finicky plants. The leaves on these got completely sun scorched. I had 2 of them in my house. I have 5 or 6 more of these plants in the greenhouse that I'll be able to bring out. But lesson learned, those things are finicky. In this box I have, I don't know, 7 or 8 Lincoln tomato plants. I have some paprika peppers, I have some jalapeno peppers. I have some Ozark giant bell peppers. I have some eggplant. So here in a couple of days, I'm going to be putting these out into the Minecraft style raised garden bed. And I still have about 2 times as many plants sitting in the greenhouse, waiting until I can find a spot to put them. I overdid the greenhouse a little bit. I started too many plants, thinking I was going to have more space more quickly. So it looks like we're going to be scrambling to find places to put everything, but we'll make it happen. I've got more area around my food forest that I want to develop. I've got a couple of trellises that I'm building out around the Minecraft style garden out in the pasture. We'll find places for everything. So Arkansas Woodcutter, I would officially like to join your side in the Shed Wars 2020. I know I don't have a lot going on in the garden just yet, but pretty soon all of the stuff that I have planted is going to come up. I'll have all of my transplants out into the garden. I think it's going to be a good season. And I've already seen all the stuff that you've got growing over there on your homestead, so I think Team Woodcutter has this one in the bag. Hopefully you've enjoyed this video. If so, please give us a thumbs up and subscribe. And if you would like to follow along as Team Woodcutter takes care of business against Team Will It Grow, then be sure to ring the notification bell so you'll know when to be back for more daily, sustainable living.